transition probably made no sense to anybody that doesn't know about the GLAM. Yeah, glamorous, baby. For those of you that do know, you know exactly who we're talking about here on this first segment of the Changavi show for pop culture. We're talking about Jack Harlow because Jack Harlow, this is probably a name that most of you have heard, not just me, or not just because of me, but because of the fact that he is probably one of the most trending musicians in the world right now. And if you don't know who Jack Harlow is, you're definitely tripping, or you just don't listen to rap, which is cool too. So let me educate you. So I believe that Jack Harlow has arrived on the musical stage. And I think that is the most fair take. And I think that's just the most uh, average take that you could give. So let's talk about Jack Harlow for a second. We talked a little bit. I talked a little bit about him on the after show. Had a little bit of fun singing his snippet, talking about how he's just unifying generations together and all of these things. But typically in hip hop, there's only really been space for one white rapper, and typically, for a lot of people, the white rappers in general within the hip hop and the rap space are looked down upon. They're looked at as, cultural appropriators, people who are breaking the space, people who are breaking the art form that is reserved for the African American community. I disagree with that form of thinking. I think hip hop is something that can be inclusive of everybody, but there are people out there that do think in hip hop purity. So Jack Harlow has done something that really not a lot of white people can do or have done in the first place. And the fact is, he is a white dude who has taken over hip hop. Okay, look, obviously he's not the number one. Like, I wouldn't call him the number one rapper of all time or like any of that stuff. Like, we can't say that. That's an overreach at this point. He's still 24. He's got a bunch more music to release. But I think we can fairly say this. I think we can fairly say that Jack Harlow has officially reached the conversation where he can be spoken with in the same breath as some of the best mainstream rappers right now in the game. I think he's reached that level of the conversation. I think his work is really good. I think his music is fun. It's a different vibe than maybe a J. Cole or a Kendrick Lamar that's a little bit deeper and talks about much deeper, more emotional themes. But I would say that Jack Harlow has reached this level where we can talk about him in that breath of some of the really, really good rappers because they are giving him recognition. Kanye West just shouted this man out on his Instagram. And I'm not saying all of this because of that snippet that came out and has gone viral on TikTok and everyone's vibing to it. It's a great snippet. It's a great song. It seems like it's going to be great. It's coming out tomorrow. I will let you know my thoughts. But I'm not saying it that it's just because of the snippet. I'm saying this because of who Jack Harlow is as a person. I think who Jack Harlow is as a person, it comes across as who he is as an artist, and it makes people more endearing to the fact that he is white and that he is all of these things. So let me explain to you like what I feel, why I feel that Jack Harlow is really close to the top of the rap game right now. I think the thing that makes Jack Harlow, in my opinion, endearing to not only us, the fans, but the rappers in the game is that at his core, from everything publicly presented to me at least, Jack Harlow has appeared to be a fan. He's a fan at heart, in his soul. He is a fan of hip hop. He's a fan of rap. He's a fan of all of these things. You hear him talk about it in interviews. You see who he collaborates with on his music. He's collaborating with people that this guy was probably listening to in his headphones in 7th grade in his classroom. A similar experience that all of us have had who listen to rap. So above all, this man is a fan of the rap and he's a fan of the artists that make up the game. And so he's smiling and having a great time, like collaborating because he's like, dude, I'm living my dream. I'm literally talking to people. Like, I can call J. Cole my colleague when I was probably, 6 years ago doing homework and listening to him over my shitty laptop speakers, right? That is what makes him endearing. He's just joyful to be there. And the fact is, like, rap and hip hop a lot of times it's about ego and it's about swag and it's about who has more shit and who has more money and who's got more bitches and all of these things. And Jack Harlow, yes, he's got ego and he's got a little bit of swagger for sure, in his rap and his bars and all of that. But there's a personality behind that. And the personality of Jack is, like I said, someone who's a fan and someone who's just appreciative and enjoying his opportunity. And so that's what makes him the guy in my eyes. That's why I really have grown to respect him a lot. And people can fucking call him a cultural appropriator and all these things, and fuck them. I don't think he is. I'd say the man is just a hardworking kid, like most of America is trying to do with their respective career or their respective dreams, and he made it, and that's dope. And listen, of course, there's so many other rappers out there that do awesome stuff. I'm not just trying to say Jack Harlow is the only one who's a fan of rap, but Jack definitely has that special charm about him for sure that not a lot of other people have. And let's take out the elephant in the room, because every single girl I talk to about Jack Harlow, the first words out of their mouth are, "Oh my God, Jack is so hot. He's super hot. Jack is super hot." And that's what Jack Harlow is. According to a lot of people, he's hot. And so that helps him too. Listen, I don't think this man is hot. Is it just me? Like, I don't think he's like, I don't see like the super attractive white boy feel, right? Like, I mean, he's just a dude. Like, this is no disrespect to Harlow. I just went on a 10-minute soliloquy about how I love the man, but like, is he like that good looking? Like, can the girls like tell me what the appeal is? And so he looks like freaking Ryan from high school, in my opinion. Like, he just looks like the average white dude. Shout out to Ryan from high school, by the way. You probably, all my high school friends probably know exactly who I'm talking about. But but like, he's just kind of like a middle of the road white dude, in my opinion. I don't know. That's my opinion, though. I could understand if you gave me a detailed argument as to why he's good looking. I would understand that. But okay. Besides the looks, right? I think where the attraction comes from is this idea that he's so cool. He's just got this swag about him. He's hot shit now. He's got the personality, and he's a smooth talker. He is a smooth talker. I mean, I saw this shit with Saweetie. Like, there's this chicken shop day with Amelia DeMoldenberg is so funny. He's very smooth with women, from what I've seen publicly, at least. And I think Jack in that department has sold a lot of his girl fans for sure. And that's great. So, but I'm not a girl, so I can't say much. I can't talk about his looks. I can't talk about his attraction. I can't talk about any of that. So I'm not going to, continue to discuss that matter. But looks aside, okay, why is Jack Harlow so relatable? Why? Like, we still haven't dug into that fundamental question, right? We got to the fact he's a fan. We got to the fact that he's hot and girls like him, and maybe something to do with the fact that he's swaggy and fun and all these things. But why is Jack Harlow relatable? And then I was like doing a deep dive into Harlow's like personality and his upbringing and all of these things. Jack Harlow's the average white kid that you went to school with. That's why everybody likes him. He's the white kid from an average American family, raised on a horse farm. His parents are named Maggie and Brian. There's probably 18,000 couples in the United States of America, Maggie and Brian, right? Like, shout out to Maggie and Brian, by the way. His family looks like the family that goes on Starbucks runs every day. They just look like the normal freaking American family. He's got a younger brother. My point is, like, the Harlow family and Jack Harlow is just an average freaking family. They're just average. And I think that's like Jack Harlow just being average makes all of us be like, yo, wait, I went to high school with someone like that. He could do it. And if he could do it, I saw how average he was at life. I could do it if I work really hard. And like seeing yourself or seeing aspects of yourself within a person is what makes the situation is what makes the person that much more relatable. I'm not saying Jack Harlow's average by any means. He's a great rapper, and he's proven that like he can create a quality song. I'm not saying his songs are average like I said, I'm not saying his songs are average, but I'm saying that he's very he's just very relatable, and that is the core of who Harlow is as a person. Like J. Cole and Kanye and Logic and Nas and Ice Cube, they all have great, like they storytell about their experiences in life so well, right? And that is relatable to a certain segment of the population. right? Growing up in the hood and having, selling crack to their, yeah, I'm obviously like this is Logic in particular, but like selling crack to his dad, getting abused by his mom, with Cole, like growing up in a rough neighborhood, with Kanye, like growing up to a single mom. Like these are experiences that can really resonate with people who have had those niche experiences, right? They've grown up in the streets. They all of these things. Like there's so many rappers like that who rap about those emotional experiences and they make beautiful music. I'm not saying that is incorrect, but Jack Harlow isn't from the streets, right? Because let's be real, there's a lot of Americans out there. Most of the people who listen to rap right now are suburban teenagers driving around in Seven Springs in Cupertino. Those are the people that are listening to rap. And Jack Harlow isn't from the streets. He's just a kid who went to a normal high school, who was raised on a fucking farm, and he has from a middle class family, and he's a kid in his 20s living his dream, calling Drake his colleague. That is the truth. That is the truth. And so it's different because he gets this fair share of pushback, because he's white and he may have grown up middle to upper class and all of these things. But he's a star. And now he's starting to find his voice a little bit and that personality's coming out. And so now it's, all coming out. And a lot of people have said for a while that Jack Harlow is a fad rapper and fad rapper. Like he's a fad, like fidget spinners or silly bands rapper. I want to make that clear. Someone that would have had like the one hit song, what's poppin'? And then he just dipped like Fetty Wap did, or like Designer, or like Broccoli, or like Dram, sorry, DRAM. Not Broccoli. Broccoli's a song. But I'm here to tell you that Jack Harlow is going to be a mainstay. I mean, just the way that people like this guy, just the way that people like his music, just the way that he's consistently been able to produce for the last couple of years here. It's not a lot of deep emotional music. It's a lot of like fun bars. It's very simple. You can groove to it. You can vibe to it. You can sing it. It's just catchy music. It's fun. But I want to see him really try to take an emotional look. I think that would be like his next step up, in my opinion, as a rapper. Like someone who takes like a deep look at life, looks at emotions, all of these things. He's done it before. He's got songs that I really enjoy, like River Road and Baxter Avenue and Rendezvous, where he really does talk a lot about his life and does a really good job with those bars, and really and does a good job with that. Once May Comes too. He's got a lot of bars in those songs that are just more emotional and more talking about his life, which is I think is cool. Keep It Light is one of my favorite Harlow songs too, and that's like a very smooth and mellow song that talks about his relationship with the industry and just friends in general. And I think it's cool. I think he talks about very relatable things, and I would like to see him do more of that. See how he can grow in that aspect of rap, because he can make the party songs. We all know that he's very, very good at that. So hopefully, I mean, this album with Nail Tech and fucking First Class seems like it's going to be a very party-esque album. There may be a couple songs of emotion and talking about that type of stuff, but I'm thinking it's going to be more of what we've seen in the past. But that's my challenge. If Jack Harlow were to ever see this, give me an album where you're talking about your existence, or you're talking about issues, or you have a concept for an album that's more based on your existence as a human, like your existence. And I understand if you don't want to make that type of music, you're like, fuck you, Anuj. Why would I make that music? Like, that's just not my vibe. And that's fair. But I think that would be the way that would really show people that you can rap about a variety of things. And that could get you into like the Drake and the J. Cole conversation at that point. But for now, you're still having a successful career. You're on fire. So who am I to talk? I'm just a kid in his fucking parents' house at 12:23 in the morning talking about your career, hoping to get famous off this clip. But listen, Jack Harlow is great. And I just think there's a lot more to his career than people let on. And so